Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the news on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kasmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next few minutes. First flights transporting Ghanaian evacuees from South Africa airbound after extended verification checks by Home Affairs Department caused an earlier delay. Also on the program, President urges continuous promotion of peace by all Ghanaians to safeguard country's democracy. Details as Muslims mark Eid al-Adha celebrations across the country. And much later on the program,
Christians and Muslims have lived together harmoniously for generations, sharing communities, schools, businesses, and evening family ties. We must continue to preserve and strengthen this harmony.
Well, that was President Mahama. They will bring you more of that. And flooding situation in Accra continued to worsen, with commuters and drivers questioning level of preparedness. Very much for joining us this afternoon. Now, in barely 2 hours, the first batch of Ghanaian evacuees from South Africa will be arriving in the country today, with another batch also expected to arrive on Friday, the 29th of May 2026. The Ghanaian High Commission is currently screening over 800 Ghanaians who have registered to be repatriated from South Africa following heightened xenophobic attacks meted out to other Africans by black South Africans. The rescheduled evacuation would see 300 Ghanaians residing in South Africa flown on board a government-chartered flight from OR Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg in the early hours of today. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent Martin Asedu is at the airport where the returnees are expected to arrive in about 2 hours' time. Martin joins us on the phone. Martin, if you can tell us, first of all, how preparations are ahead of the arrival later this afternoon.
Right, good afternoon, Bernice, and good afternoon to our listeners. So, yes, we were here at the Accra International Airport around 8:30. We were told that the first flight should touch down at 9, but a few minutes into our waiting, we were told that there was a delay in the takeoff from Joburg. So, the arrival has now been shifted to 2:30, which means that we would have to now wait again. But the update we have, like you've mentioned in the intro, is that there were a number of buses, and many on social media may have already seen that a fleet of buses went to the Pretoria High Commission, or a High Commission in Pretoria, when almost 300 Ghanaians and their family members were there with their luggage. They were all onboarded and were sent to the airport. What we do know is that, yes, there was a delay, but as we speak, they are airborne and should be touching down by 2:30 in Ghana. So between 3 and 4 o'clock, that's when we probably will start seeing them emerge from the airport. And from all indications, what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs intends to do is, upon arrival, they are going to register all of them so they have that database. Again, they are also going to be giving them Ghana cards, or at least try to get them onto a database where those that do not have a Ghana card can immediately get it. Government has promised to give them some packages. The content or the details of those packages we are unaware of at the moment, but you can clearly tell that the Ghanaians who are coming from South Africa are extremely excited about this opportunity to have a free flight, bring them in, and then the promise of helping them reintegrate into society. And we'll definitely be engaging some of them when they do arrive. But so far, that's what we've been told. Upon arrival, they will all be moved to a specific location, and then the registration will start. And I'm sure we'll also be getting updates as and when we get further information from the ministry regarding how soon those that come from other parts of the country will be departing, or they probably will be at a holding area for a number of days before they all be allowed to depart if they have to.
Indeed. And Martin, briefly, are there family members around already, as you can see?
No, at the airport, we didn't see any family member. There are people around, but you can't tell whether they are here waiting for those who are coming in from South Africa. At least the area where we were sent to, we didn't see anybody that showed that they were there waiting for the evacuees from South Africa.
Thank you very much, Martin Asiedu-Date. He's our foreign affairs correspondent, and of course we'll bring you an update as they arrive and any subsequent information related to that. Now, President Mahama has urged the continuous promotion of peace by all Ghanaians to safeguard the country's democracy. Muslims have been preparing for this year's Eid al-Adha celebration, joining Muslims to mark Eid prayers at the Black Star Square. The president urged for security and guarding against extremism.
My brothers and sisters, the message of Eid is particularly important in today's world, where many societies are facing division, intolerance, violence, and conflict. Ghana continues to stand out as a shining example of peaceful coexistence among people of different faiths and backgrounds. Christians and Muslims have lived together harmoniously for generations, sharing communities, schools, businesses, and evening family ties. We must continue to preserve and strengthen this harmony. I urge all Ghanaians, irrespective of religion or ethnicity, to continue promoting peace, tolerance, understanding, and mutual respect. We must reject extremism, political tolerance, tribal divisions, and all acts that threaten our national unity. Let us emulate these noble virtues in our daily lives too. I especially encourage our young people to remain disciplined, law-abiding, respectful, and responsible citizens. I urge you to also avoid drug addiction. Our nation needs young people who are focused on education, skills, hard work, entrepreneurship, and service to humanity. Distinguished guests, when my administration took over office, we inherited significant economic difficulties that affected businesses, families, and especially young people seeking opportunities. Over the past months, we have worked diligently to stabilize the economy, to restore confidence, and build a stronger foundation for growth and job creation. Today, I'm pleased to report to you that there are signs of recovery and Ghana has renewed hope. Our focus now remains on creating jobs, supporting local enterprises, expanding opportunities for young people, and improving living conditions for ordinary Ghanaians.
And you heard President John Mahama. Meanwhile, members of parliament have called on Ghanaians to uphold the values of unity, sacrifice, and compassion as Muslims across the country celebrate the Eid al-Adha today. MP for Salaga South, Zuwaira Ibrahima, read a statement in which she traced the history and significance of the festival and urged Muslims to extend support to widows, persons with disability, and families facing hardship. Other lawmakers have also encouraged Muslims to deepen their faith and devotion to Allah and stressed collective efforts to develop the country.
In Ghana, Mr. Speaker, Islam has been present since the 10th century through trans-Saharan trade and the influence of the Mali and Songhai empires. Eid al-Adha was observed for centuries in Muslim communities in Dagbon, Gonja, Mamprugu, and other areas. Ghana's strength lies in our religious tolerance and peaceful coexistence. As we celebrate, I urge all Ghanaians, particularly the Muslim Ummah, to observe Eid al-Adha in an atmosphere of peace, mutual respect, and harmony.
As we celebrate this blessed festival, we encourage all Muslims across the globe to strengthen their faith and devotion to Allah and promote peace, unity, brotherhood within our communities. Mr. Speaker, I also extend kindness and support to the less privileged in our society during this festive season. May Allah accept our sacrifices, prayer, and good deeds And may He bless our homes with peace, prosperity, good health, and abundance of mercy.
And so it is a call on all of us to unite our efforts to build Ghana. It is the best thing to do when you want to obey Allah. It is to say that my neighbor, I will sacrifice for my neighbor. And your neighbor is the one next to you, and your neighbor is your fellow Ghanaian. Mr. Speaker, on this day, we call on all Ghanaians to see Ghana as a one single effort. We are all fighting to develop.
And you had there some members of parliament sharing their thoughts on today's Eid celebration and what Muslims are expected to do. Still on this, and in the regions, the Eid activities are in earnest. The Northeast Regional Minister has urged residents of Langbisi and the Northeast region to work together to maintain peace. Speaking during the Eid al-Adha prayers, the minister emphasized that peace is a vital foundation for regional development and a responsibility that every citizen must uphold. He charged residents, regardless of their background, to view the preservation of peace as a shared duty. Northeast Regional Correspondent Solomon Kwame Kanawule was at the event. He'll be joining us very shortly with the latest on this. Okay, he's actually live on the show now. Solomon, if you can tell us more about the specific points the minister raised regarding why he believes peace is the primary driver for development in the part of the country where you are.
All right, so when the minister was addressing the people at Langbisi and Northeast region at large, he mentioned that somewhere last year around this time, some communities within the Northeast region, taking for instance Bunkrogo Napanduri district, Bimbago Nanek, where there were some disputes around the area. So he says that due to that, some facilities, let's take schools and hospitals, have been closed down because of the violence in that area. And also taking into consideration, the minister says that because of the nature of violence situation within the region, some developers wouldn't want to come into the region. And so the minister pointed that it is good for the people to look at some of these challenges and then embrace peace within the Northeast region. He also mentioned that because there is a big calm within the region, some of the appointees were able to come into the region to access some of the ongoing projects within the region.
But what's the atmosphere like right now with the celebrations ongoing currently?
Currently, the Northeast region is calm, is quiet. When you take the roads, you hardly meet cars. And probably this is because people are in their various communities celebrating the Salah. I travel from Wale to Nalergo thinking the number of cars I will meet, but however, the atmosphere is very quiet here. And when you enter the communities, you only see few people who are gathered, maybe sharing of food or meat. But generally, the communities are very quiet. And unlike the usual busy days, this time around, you don't see it like that. The place is very quiet. Let's listen to what the Northeast Regional Minister said to the people.
Inura yedi bubasa basa, eno yode ohawa, so insu tokesa, or the brain. Kakreya osha asiriti, ye humbia bebrea, insu yira, a month wage apade, wa pen fibebre, insu. Or they just a matter of maybe 2 hours, or that saying, my impafi level will be able to ground zero. I had a man, Robert Shabrabasi. It's a mess. There, Abribia, Yura, or Sunday, Urade, ye pay ye bedity, ye bay de Ura Baba. Na yan shredder, ye book room runny, ye young film Gugat and babya, in Suta, or by your Howard Brain.
And you rather heard the Western Regional Minister, Joseph Nelson, asking people to keep the sanitation of the area because of the impact of flooding. Earlier you heard our Northeast Regional Correspondent, Solomon Kwame Kanawule. We still, let's cross over now to the Bono East region where the local Tachiman Municipal Imam of Allah Sunnah Wal Jama Idris Suleiman Abdullahi has also emphasized the need for regional peace, youth development, and a collective effort to curb substance abuse in that part of the country.
They have some bad nuts who have spoiled most of them, and all come because of poverty. All came because of poverty, and I advise the youth that they should desist from bad drugs. That what do you call it? Red and Tramol and others. They should quit from it.
And we bring you some other news because drivers and commuters have expressed disappointment in the preparedness of the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council ahead of this year's rainy season. Several streets in the capital, Accra, were flooded on Tuesday, May 26, causing heavy traffic in parts of the city. Joseph Armstrong visited some affected areas and reported that even the frontage of the Supreme Court on the High Street, Accra, was submerged in flood waters.
So this is the current set of roads here in front of the Supreme Court and also that of the Nkrumah Museum. You see the vehicles right behind, how they are struggling to access this road called the High Street, right in front of the Supreme Court and also that of the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Museum. The entire road has been taken over by the flood waters. All the gutters here are choked. The vehicles here are trying their possible best to just ply this road, and this road is not different from other roads we visited so far. We've been to the Jowolo traffic light, where also you see the highway, the N1 highway has equally been flooded by flood waters, and it has been the situation also at the Gimpa Road, where the major road there has equally been flooded. If you use the Madina stretch between Madina and Adenta, has equally been flooded. And if you go to Dansoman, the Dansoman junction between Odoko and Dansoman junction, vehicles there are unable to ply that road because the entire stretch has been flooded by the rain waters, and this has been the cause of choked gutters across the capital city. And government agencies, NADMOM, the RCC, this year promised that you are not going to see any of these floods taking place.
And you heard that Joseph Gold Armstrong Alubis report. And that's it for the news here on Sri FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Log on to srinews.com for more news. Happy holiday.